Good morning. Good morning. Happy Monday. MP DeVille here, mother, author, life igniter. So, one thing I know for sure, I have realized this for quite some time. And I know that many people who remain in abusive situations remain in those abusive situations because they are ashamed. Yeah, they are ashamed. They are ashamed of what people will think of them. They are ashamed of um, the talks that they will have to endure, such as, why are you still there? You should leave. You don't deserve this, so forth and so on. A lot of people just don't want to hear that. Um, a lot of people don't want other people to know that the person they're loving, that the person they think loves them, that the situation they're in is not as grandiose as it appears to be. So rather than telling someone or seeking help for abuse, they will remain in those situations simply because they don't want the backlash, whether it's helpful, informative, or whatever the case may be. They don't want it. And that keeps them in those domestic abusive situations. And I know this for a fact because I experienced it as a child. I watched my mother get abused as a child, and I mean brutally abused. Black eyes, bloody nose, knocked out teeth, bruises all over the body, things that children should never have to watch or endure. And guess what I also saw? I saw that she was embarrassed about it. She was ashamed and she was embarrassed about it. But she didn't have the means or the will to want to get up and get out of the situation. I can honestly tell you that this is very personal to me, and I only tell it to you because I hope that I can help somebody else in the process, because one thing that's always been near and dear to my heart is people who suffer from domestic violence and being abused by their partner, as well as the children who have to watch and endure those situations. I was one of those children, and I know what it did to me. So I certainly don't want other children to have to endure that. It can change your life, for real. It can change your life. It can deter who you are supposed to be in life and put you on a completely different pathway. And for many people, it does that. I was lucky, I was blessed to understand at a very young age that abuse was not right. My mother should not be going through that. I don't know what's my stepfather's problem, which I soon found out it was his own insecurity, his drug addiction, his jealousy. All of those things caused him to lash out at my mother and hurt my mother, and in turn hurt her children, because we endured that. We endured watching her being abused. And at the same time, she was so embarrassed that she stayed there and she endured it for at least 7 years. She endured it. And I know for sure that although she was ashamed of it and she refused to leave the situation, I could not deal with it. I could not stand it. It kept me up at night. Him coming in a ruckus, wanting to fight my mother in the middle of the night, woke us up. So we had to listen to it. We had to hear it. We had to see it. And then one day I got fed up with it. I really did. I got fed up to the point where I remember this so distinctly because I had on a red bandana. And I know that was because my mom had three girls and a son. And she would comb our hair at night. So that would be one less chore we had to do in the morning before we went to school. So, yes, she would comb our hair at night, and then she would tie a bandana around all our heads. And so in the morning, we could just get up and brush our teeth, do what we had to do, and take the bandana off and be out the door. But I had a red bandana on, and he jumped on my mother, and they fell on one of the bunk beds near where I was at. And something inside of me just caused me to raise my hand up and pop him across the head. I mean hard. I popped him across the head, and I was like, "Get off of my mama." And he looked up at me, and I really didn't know what was going to happen. And his response to me was, "You need to stay out of grown folk business." And my response back to him was, "Well, you need to stop hitting my mama." And I honestly think that that was probably the last time he jumped on my mother in front of us. I don't know if he had came to some type of reckoning, or she had came to some type of reckoning. Well, him mainly, that, you know what, these children are getting too old for me to be doing this. And my mother probably came to the reckoning along with me, practically begging her every day to let's leave, let's go to another city, let's go back home to where she was from, her birthplace. And her words were always, we will. And she kept her into the bargain. We eventually left. And she changed her life. Her life began to change. After she decided to move herself and us children out of that abusive relationship, my mother's life began to change. And I wholeheartedly believe that if I would not have stepped in and hit that man in the head that day, that we would probably still be in we would have remained in that situation for more years to come. But I think my mother also knew that we were getting older, and we were starting, she knew that what was going on was affecting us, because it does. When your children are watching their father and their mother or stepfather or parents, whomever, indulge in dysfunction, it is sure to rub off on them. There's a fact of the matter where some of those traits will rub off so much that they'll start doing it. The boys in the family will grow up fighting their wives and women and girlfriends. Girls in the family who grow up watching that will grow up allowing their boyfriends, husbands, or men to fight them. And think it's okay. Think it's okay because guess what? They saw it happening. So they think that that's normal. They think that's how life is supposed to be, when it's not. So I'm just so grateful and so thankful and so blessed that God told me at such a young age that no, this isn't right. And that thought process has followed me from my childhood to my young adulthood, all the way up into my older adulthood. And I've always tried to sway away from the subject because for some time I too was embarrassed. I was embarrassed about talking about it also. And then I realized that, you know what? I'm a healer. I know my personality is a healer as well as an activist in many ways. So, my plight today is just to help people, make people more aware of domestic violence and how it affects them and their children, and to help you heal from it. Because there's a lot of healing that has to be involved in order for you not to carry on the same dysfunctional traits, because they're ingrained into your subconscious at this point. So now you need to work on yourself and work on help your children Yeah, it's that serious. So don't allow your embarrassment to keep you stuck in dysfunctional situations. You're not the only person it's happened to. You're not going to be the last person it happens to. But you have to be the person that's willing to make the change. And you have to be the person that's willing to not accept that. Because guess what? There's someone out there that's going to love you the right way. There's someone out there that's going to give you a happy, loving, prosperous relationship. They're going to love you because they're going to love themselves. Because whether we know it or not, most people that inflict pain on someone else are hurt people. Hurt people hurt people. Okay? So don't be embarrassed. Just know that you're not alone. And know that there's help out there. And know that God will make a way for you out of that situation. You just have to make the first step. Okay? So have a great day, and I will see you later.